nature from his teaching that is not taught in any school or any university. And that is a very, very sad thing, because it is part of why we have lost connection with our earth. So I highly recommend that. Wow. So going back to the weeding, now that I've shared the digging of the sacred medicine, when you take that digging experience and you go back and you start weeding, you will look at the weeds as a problem that you have facing you. You know, say, okay, I have an issue with my relationship. And you know, and it's all pointing fingers, you know, the normal things, pointing fingers, and they're wrong, they're right, they don't understand me, nobody listens, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, it stems from his parents, my parents, what family, you know, all of these things. And you start, all these things go through your head. But you're like, how do you know? So I highly recommend going and finding a garden. If you don't have a garden, then walk your neighborhood and find somebody who has a garden that is in bad need of weeding. All sorts of weeds. The more, the better. And as a part of an exercise and service, go and ask if you could offer to weed their garden. Not for any money. And they're going to, but why? You know, how much is it going to cost me? It's like, no, this is an exercise in meditation that I'm trying to solve a problem. Would you mind if I used your weeds to help me solve the problem or understand the problem? They might smile. They might go, oh, yes, please, I need it. Particularly if it's if it's somebody who's elderly or is not able to get out and do the weeding. And say, I won't be able to finish the whole thing one day. It might take me several days, but is that okay? And I'm sure they'll say yes. And then you take a patch, something that attracts you, something that sort of lights up in that area. And you bring a cushion, bring some gloves, and you sit down and you start with a little digging stick or a knife or something to help, get the heavy things out of the ground. And you start weeding. And in the first 10 minutes, maybe like, oh gosh, why am I doing this? I've got things to do. I'm better than this. This is for other type of people. I'm an educated person. I don't need to do this. Oh, yes, you do. Oh, yes, you do. Doesn't matter how many PhDs you have. It doesn't matter how many diplomas you have. Doesn't matter what you do in life. Everybody needs to do this because it brings you back down onto the ground and into the presence of your own presence being. So start digging. And then you pull a few weeds, and some are really easy. And you go and then you hit a really hard one and say, okay, don't break it off. Start digging as far as you can to see if you can get it before it breaks. Some of them you'll just have to pull out. But others you can use as a proxy for your relationship or your illness, or you can do them for anything. That's your mind. It will just tell you what you're going to be doing, what it's about. It might be about all of them. And so keep going. And have a bucket, or a pile or something, and you keep digging and you keep putting them on the pile. And then within 10, 15 minutes, you're going to look around and go like, oh my God, I didn't realize I'd done so many. And you keep going. And if you can do it for an hour, probably in 15 minutes, you're going to be in a completely different space. And you're not going to be focused on anything particular. Your mind is going to be allowed to relax. Your brain is going to be allowed to relax. And you're not thinking about the digging, because digging, it's just, and the weeding, because it's just a mundane experience. However, in the gentleness of the earth, Mother Earth and the elements will help you get out of your way. And then, if you're like me, that's when your mind starts opening and thoughts when tangents will come through. And you just let them flow. And ideas. That's it. Doing my weeding is how this podcast evolved. Because I was asking the question, what do I do next with the experience that I have? And where I am at the moment is I am on a small ranch in a very sacred valley at the end of a 10-mile dirt road 15, 20 miles outside of Sedona, Arizona. At night, the stillness, the stars or the clouds, you can feel the air breathing, you can feel nothingness. It's amazing. And so I've learned to deal with the incredible heat of the desert. I have learned to begin and grow organic garden in the desert. And now that the rains come most every second afternoon, the next day you can just sit and watch the weeds grow exponentially because of the water. And so the weeds are everywhere. And this is where it's just like ongoing. And so are our problems ongoing. And so you use this type of dialogue, this type of experience through time to solve problems. You are the book, you are the puzzle, you are the lock, and you hold the key to the answers of all that you are searching for. They don't come from a psychologist, they don't come from a psychiatrist, they don't come from a lecture, they don't come from a book. You can get clues from all of them. They don't come from a church, they don't come from some belief in this or that or whatever. They come from deep within you. And deep within you is where you will find the transmutation that will be the alchemy to make something change from one thing into something else. It can be very, very subtle, or it can be very, very abrupt and in your face and real so that you cannot miss it. You will have both in time. These are powerful experiences. So anyone who is willing, who is serious, serious about finding who you are on this path that you've chosen, and it's a path of discovering and knowing who your soul has incarnated in and through your being. For your soul is what has the matrix. It's an intangible piece. It's not your brain. It's an intangible breath that came into you at birth, and prior to birth, because it was already in the works. But that is the roadmap. And the soul gives you directions. The brain, however you have been wired, tells you if it's logical or not, follow it or not, do it or not, this is right or wrong or not. But it's deep inside you that you will find these answers. A little bit at a time. Sometimes they will not be clear at all. You'll give you a piece of information. Write it down. And then the next time you do it, you'll get another piece of information, and then another piece of information. Keep writing all of these little pieces of information down. Because the answers you are looking for are not linear. They are not one directional and then that's all there is. It is like once you start to see the way the roots form and the way they spread and they interact with others, you will see that all of your problems work in exactly the same way, that they are melded and molded and connected to and through and with others through time and space. And this is all another topic, so we won't get too far into the depths of it now. So thank you for listening. If you wish to comment, awesome. I hope it helps. The conversations and dialogues that you will find and experience in provocative conversations are about on how life experiences become the fodder, the soil, the womb, the birthplace, and the path of spiritual awakening. They will trigger, expand, annoy, frustrate, excite, awaken, all sorts of things inside of you. In your perspectives will change if you allow it all to play through. And you will find a higher and deeper version of yourself. Provocative conversations that activate the depths and the mind of who you are. Until we meet again, thank you.